Welcome to the Four Corners series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 16th of January 1911, and the game's on pause for a reason which I'll explain in a little while. But first things first, a big thank you for your comments and feedback. One thing I am finding very interesting about your comments is the different takes on the role-playing aspect of the game and how to expand in this time period, and that leads me into three things that I do want to talk about before we unpause the game. Now, the first one relates to expansion, is that somebody suggested expanding out here to take advantage of the gravel. And that's something I do want to do in the long term, but what I don't want to do is build a village out here, because eventually when we get up to the 1920s, 1930s, I'm going to want to put a big emphasis on rail. And for that reason, I would like to develop this as a major gravel export area, but with a railhead. And at the moment, I don't feel we're really set up for that. The other reason is that what I really want to do is focus my expansion in this direction to be able to get to access to the oil and the coal and iron. And the idea is to be ready for when the vehicles start to appear, so that we can then start to drive our expansion. Of course, that leads into being able to get our railways up and running. The other thing also is, if I show you here, there is a little bit of patch of gravel here. I think it's actually underwater, so we're going to need to get a construction office out here and level this off. So the concept I'm going for with this expansion is, rather than building a big production areas for anything, the idea is to effectively move out in stages with self-sustained villages. So what we'll probably have is another gravel center here with a crusher producing the gravel for this area, just to push the expansion out, because we can get to here. There's a bit more gravel up here, and of course we've got the coastline that we can tap into with gravel as well, though to be honest you can't see it that well at the moment because of the white there. That's the way I want to drive my expansion, rather than the normal approach to the game where you build a big production center. So that's the first thing. The next thing is, somebody commented about the fact factory connections are really break the immersion with respect to roleplay, and I do agree with that, but factory connections do really contrast with this time period. And of course, part of the argument about using factory connections was the fact that fork trucks. Now, I actually looked into the history of fork trucks, although I knew a little bit already, but the first precursor for fork trucks was something which we would now call a low loader, and this was actually a flat black truck. Quite interestingly, they were electric, and you had a guy stood on the back on a little platform with a lever, and in front he had something that was about 2 meters long, a bit longer, flat, where they would pile the cargo on, and then they'd move items around like that. Now, of course, in a village out in the middle of nowhere, they wouldn't have low loaders like that, but I'll come round to the argument for using factory connections here. But the big driving force for forklift trucks, and I have to admit I didn't know this, was the First World War, because the casualties during the First World War, which ran into millions, caused massive labour shortages in the docks and factories. And what that actually did was create a massive surge in what you could call the fork truck Mark 1, which remarkably looked a bit like a fork truck, but of course it was diesel or petrol driven, with a big engine on the back, with effectively a hoist on the front. The reason why fork trucks look very similar all the way across the world is the fact that in the 1950s they realised that a lot of people were being killed by them toppling over. So what they came up with was a set of safety regulations that effectively defines the shape of the fork truck as it is today. That is a bit of a potted history of the fork truck, and the way I'm going to do it is up until 1914, 1915 we're going to treat factory connections in a very special sense, which I'll define in a minute. But once we get to 1914, 1915, then we can start using factory connections as defined within the concept of the game. Now, the constraint I'm using on factory connections now is to do with the way industry worked back in the 1900s. Like, for example, this woodcutter would also split planks and make planks, and then would have a yard where people went to buy planks, and that would all be one big yard. But of course we can't build that in the game because there isn't a building for that. So the way I'm arguing is that these factory connections here represent a whole kind of builder's yard, where someone's going out cutting the trees in the local forest, coming and then splitting the planks and making them available for the workforce. I think that equally applies to this area here, the wagon maker. a wagon maker around this time, especially in a heavily wooded area like this, would literally cut his own logs. So he'd have his log cutting plant. And of course, we've got this the horse feed converter to get the materials to make the wagons. And of course, this actually has to have a factory connection, whether I like it or not. So again, this area here will form a kind of integrated wagon making blacksmith complex. That's the way I'm going to do there. Now, an example where I'm not going to build the factory connections is here, because we've got the 2 cattle fields, and it wouldn't make right to say that the cattle kind of were brought into here. So what we're going to do is use wagons to bring the cattle into the smokehouse for slaughtering, because normally the cattle would be slaughtered and then cured and into bacon or ham or whatever you want to call it. So here, I'm not going to build these factory connections straight away, not until about 1914, 1915. Going forward, when there will be a certain amount of planning, but whether the factory connection gets built or not is another matter. And of course, another example here is that we've got a wood-driven heating plant, but the local forester would be supplying the logs to here. So, and this is the reason why I never gave this a factory connection. And another example is here with the rock crusher and the storage. So in some ways, yes, I've had to build a conveyor, which you can see it's actually being built now. I'm going to talk about this once I finish this bit. So the conveyor here is effectively being treated as part of a single complex here. So that's why I'm looking at it now. Another comment somebody raised was about the fact that to make these factory connections and conveyors, you actually got to deliver the passengers directly by bus. An example here is if I can now unpause the game, because this is why the game is on pause. I wanted to show you that the workforce going into here is actually building this conveyor, and we've got a similar example up here with so we got the excavator up here laying the gravel, but eventually to do the asphalting side, what we're going to need to do is get the bus in the construction office here to deliver the workforce to there. Now, while we're in this area, somebody did raise a comment about the immersion braking by using the steel and resources in this area. Now, my approach is that the local blacksmith would make the mechanical and electrical components from the local scrap irons. So in some ways that stays in context. But the problem is the plastic, the steel and the electronics is out of context. There's also another issue is that I've got no idea how much storage is in here. And so there's a very real possibility if I started stealing the mechanical and electrical components from here, we may actually get surpluses here. So I'm not going to make a decision on that until I actually get this finished and see, because what I may say is that if I'm going to use the mechanical or electrical components today to build small buildings, what the price will be is that I will scrap any plastics, electronics, and possibly maybe the steel as well. That's going to be my approach to that. Again, it's purely role-playing purposes. Now, another comment I got was related to that I needed another construction office, and that is something I do want to plan, and it fits in with the way I want to expand here. So what I want to do is put a construction office here. Now, this is a bit difficult because that's got prefabs. I want a fairly large one, but I don't want to go really massive like that. I mean, 16 would be nice. It's 2.4 tons, 6 tons of bricks. But the trouble is this is going to look slightly modern. We do have some older construction sites here. We've got this one here. It's actually a 20 slot, and it actually needs marginally more bricks. So we've got a C7 here, but that is the same size as thing, and it also needs prefabs. Got a C6 here, which is actually smaller than that. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go for this one. I know it's going to be a little bit out of context. Actually, no. What's the difference between these? 2.4. It's not a lot of difference in these, is it? So we might as well just go for this. It's going to be one of the difficult decisions we got to make. So we'll just put that there. And the idea is this construction office will take the wagons and equipment to start to drive out the population here. Now, eventually, what I want to do is put another bus stop here, because these have only got one slot, probably maybe one with multiple slots on it. The other thing I'm also thinking is a feeder out here, because if we open up this quarry here, we're going to need wagons coming backwards and forwards here. I don't want them wandering all up there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put in a, of course we've got to remember it's the gas station. And what we're going to do is just slip in a horse feeding station just in there. And so effectively what we got is this one here will be feeding the wagons going along this route, and this one will eventually supply the wagons there. Now a bit of an update over here, because I've put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 builds, which is quite a lot. So I've actually put in another storage warehouse here, which hopefully we're going to get built before the time it comes to harvest. And I think that is most of the comments. Apologies. Oh, somebody did mention Tudor villages, and I'm kind of thinking that maybe when we come out here, so I'm thinking about building a village about here, so we have on this side of the road, because well, I'm pretty sure that the oil is up. Let me just see. I think the oil is about here. It's in this area here. So what I would like to do is build a village here, and then we can exploit the gravel here, maybe on both sides of the road, and maybe this could be a Tudor village. The other option that I have considered is we've got our little villages up here. Maybe when we get to here, we'll actually rebuild these as Tudor villages. There's a bit of a thought here actually while we're looking at this. Now, one of the changes to the new update when it comes out is that over 21s will go to empty buildings. So if you like playing on populated maps, be aware that if you've got little houses out like this and you start to get an over 21s problems, if you've got unpopulated towns around your map which you don't intend to use, what you may lose is population to these towns, which then will then disappear because they'll be unhappy. So that's something you do need to think about. I'll just close this again because we're going to get there. Let's have a bit of an update. We got the rock crusher here. I've got to see who's doing what. Let me see. You're building the 5-story factory connection and the blacksmith. I think what I would like to do is get, maybe we'll add you and there. You can start the groundworks on that. Yeah, you still need some no, you don't need the groundworks. Okay, let's get you off of here. There's no point you doing that. I'm having a few problems with my mouse at the moment. I've noticed it I was playing Imperium this morning and the mouse seems to be a bit flighty. I'm starting to wonder whether my mouse is actually starting to wear out, and I'm going to need to look at getting a new one, which is always a pain for me because I like silent click mice. One, they can be quite expensive, and two, they're not overly comfortable. We got this here, so we can get the groundworks built on that. Another comment I got, someone said, is that the population is going to start to run away with me now, and that is going to be an issue. And this is another reason why I want to get a second village going, so that we can use that population surge to kind of drive the village development out there. But I still would like to get a few things done here. Now, another change I've found is that we were delivering logs to here from this station here, but what's happened is that this can drain all the logs away, so we need to keep an eye on this. So what I've done is I've switched these guys to here. Sorry, it's a bit difficult to recognize some of the buildings. Now there are actually 2 wagons sat here at the moment, and the idea is that eventually the logs required by the smokehouse will come from here as well. My strategy going forward is, rather than building a great big log processing center, is to effectively have these small centers that supply small amounts of logs. It means I can avoid by building great big massive open stores. I can move forward with these. I'm going to limit that, and then we're going to put this on 100% as well. Of course, actually what I could do is, I think I've got an open hole here. No, I haven't. Oh, I thought I had an open hole. Okay, we're going to buy an open hole. Yeah. And just buy one of you. Kind of painfully aware that I'm slowly eating my way through the money. And I think what we can do is, you can pick up the logs there. You can drop off there. What we can do is start to build up a supply of logs here. And then these wagons can actually pick the logs up from here. This is only 29 tons. And this is, so we're not going to have massive amounts of capacity, but I'm quite happy with that at the moment. You can see here, similar to the conveyor, we've now got to this point. Now this won't get built until this guy sends up a wagon, which means we need workforce in here to do that. And what someone suggested is to build a small construction office that's just got passenger wagons in it. Then they can go out and do some of these jobs which only need a workforce. And that's quite a good idea, actually. Kind of not sure. Let me just get rid of that. The construction offices again. We've got a tiny. I'm going to slide that in there. Can't build due to infrastructure. Get that there. One's a bit smaller. Question is, would that actually connect to road there? No, it's wishful thinking. Yeah, we do it here. What we will do is hook you guys onto here. And I'm overloading again. Actually, how's the range of the... So this feeder is actually outside the range of this. So maybe it'd be a bit better to put the wind turbine over here. Maybe I can just drop a wind power, be power plant, wouldn't it? Any other power? I mean, I'm just reluctant to start building large power plants at the moment. Oh, that's the cattle field. So we can't build it on that side because I'm interfering with the cattle field. I think maybe we're just put a second wind turbine here. If we put them close together, there is a power transformer. Where is it? We've got this here. So what I could do later on is kind of slide this in behind, and then we can connect this up with, in fact, maybe we could do it that way round. And then we could connect up there, and then we could put together a medium supply grid, because that's something that I would like to do. When I say medium, is this one here, because I don't feel high tension cables really fit with this time period. Everything would have been medium power supplied. So okay, let's just get this here. We've now finished this conveyor. Gravel quarry. We've got concrete and gravel there. Right, we're finally coming out of the winter. Let's see what we got here. This is going okay. We just need some boards delivered here. Keeping this guy busy. The other thing I want to remember to do is we're going to plant the pine trees, because one thing I noticed with my 1947 start is when you've got wagons, you need to keep the harvest or the trees close in to where your foresters are. Okay, we haven't really started. Still on the 24th of February. We got this here. Now if I get this rock crusher built, I'm hoping that if we get this finished, we can get rock crushers there. I think this is where building the gravel footpaths makes quite a big difference. We got an excavator there. Any other little gravel footpaths I can put in? I want to keep filling these up. Oh, I mean, it's a nice long one there. So hopefully you're going to get picked up. And I want to do all the footpaths before I actually put in the thing. So we've got a nice footpath there. It'd be great to take that across to get to there. So yeah, gravel is the big restricting factor at the moment. And of course, now one thing I have thought about with respect to this is going to be the price of templates. You know, because if suddenly the template costs 1,000,000 rubles, I could have a bit of a problem with my scheme to build my own wagons. And then what we're going to have to do is try and build up the economy. And at the moment, we're just exporting food and livestock. What are we actually importing at the moment? A lot. Steel, as usual, jolly old steel is the big factor. Mechanical components, gravel, whoops, thank you game. A little bit of cement. Bitumen, probably, I think somebody suggested bricks as an objective. Again, returning to this area here, what I'm thinking is if we can get enough of a population going here with some houses in this corner, although we might get a bit far, so we might have to put some houses here. What I'm thinking possibly is some brick production down here or something, and bitumen production. Well, we could probably put some bitumen production up here as well, but I don't really want to commit to that because it's similar with this, that rather than keep bringing the wagons all the way down here, I want to keep pushing these out in steps as we go forward, so that effectively what will happen is as we get a village out here, we'll put cement works out there. So we're going to kind of make the cement and the asphalt as we go. Now this is going quite good. How are we doing up here? We're not getting the workforce in there. Let's get back to a small construction office. We could put a small construction office here. Kind of developing this road out this way, aren't I? I mean, we could put one over here, but that would infect the trees. Let me just see. My instinct is to put the small construction office over here. In fact, I think I will. And so we're going to have effectively 2 construction offices side by side. So if I put the tiny one right alongside it as well, like that. Widget just in right there. And then what I could do is, once we've got all the main construction finished here, top production, who are you? Oh, it's the heating plant, that's okay. Yeah, what I could do is move my construction that way, and then this could become the worker bus passenger construction office, because it's right next to here. Again, I think this wasn't in the comments in the last video, but the one before, someone pointed out the length of time that workers will sit here. So if we've got, say, 3 passenger wagons in here, the moment we get any workers in here, we can kind of get out and snatch them straight away. Well, that's the theory anyway. How are we doing? Oh, we finished this. That's good. I don't think we've got any over 21s to move in. It's nice just to have that kind of additional capacity there now to expand into. And as somebody pointed out, that we can get a runaway population. We got 261 workers now, so we're starting to get to a little bit of a critical mass. Oh, I did notice that as well. We are starting to sow the fields, and because we're on the 10th of March, we're not doing bad actually. Oh yeah, most of our workers now are working on the fields, so I think this is out of range. And of course we'll need to get this one's way out of range, so it's going to have to be picked up by the combine. I don't really want to. Why are you? Oh no, it's not combine, sorry, it's the crazy horses. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is, while I'm thinking about it, is just buy another harvester. And put you in there. I think 3 harvesters will make a big impact. What I do need is a vehicle park, because when the time comes for this, yeah, at the moment we're still emptying these silos. And I think somebody said about increasing the amount of food. I mean, I could export more food. How are we doing for crops? We're good. I think what we can do is start exporting a bit more food, just to try and make some more cash. So come in here. So you can pick up food. And you can sell the food as well. I mean, at the moment, I'm not trying to so much make a profit. What I'm trying to do is just slow down the rate of losses, is probably the polite way of saying it. Right, what are you doing now? I think we're going to get that underway as well. That is in range of this thing, isn't it? Difficult to tell. I think it is. Let me just check. A way we can check is... Yeah. I think what I will do is... you load you there. And then what I'm going to do is bring you down to here. And you're going to unload logs here. And we're just going to take you off of there. Move you. Wait, no, the wrong one. You need to unload there. Need you to unload there. I think I'm going to need to name these wood cutting posts. Let's just check. You're going to unload there, and you're going to load there. The reason for doing that is that this guy's obviously struggling a bit with the production. So if we get the extra logs down into there, we'll have a little bit of extra supply process at the moment. I don't think we're actually consuming. I think what we'll do is we'll just kind of up that a little bit. Yes, I mean, we're in March and we've still got quite a lot of surplus here. So this isn't that, so we're actually still pulling it from here. It's good. Get this built. And what we can do then is send some crops down here to get this full. We got this being built here. I was originally going to send a workforce out here, but I think what I'm going to do is use an excavator out here to get things going. Actually, might increase that a little bit as well. We got things to protect now. We need to get this built. We got here. Yeah, gravel. How much is gravel costing us at the moment? 353, 400. So if we can cut that out. Sorry. Import, export. So we're kind of making a little bit more money now with respect to that. Raw store, unfinished footpath. Don't really think this guy's making much of a contribution to here now. Oh, we need gravel. Gravel. Yes. Just double check. Yep. Right, we've got 17 people unemployed. I mean, I've got this to build as well, the athletics club. I think we're now in a kind of position where we're just going to have to let things develop. I build this. See, again, it's gravel. think maybe this guy's got wagons in here, so I think we'll send you there. I want to check the gas stations. The auto purchase is off. That's going okay. Still haven't got this built, which is a bit of an inconvenience. So we've now got these 4 fields sown, and we've got this one in the process of being sown as well. This is going okay. Right. We've now completed the groundworks. We just need the workforce out here now to do it, although technically we've got 2 horse-drawn excavators here, which is the reason why I'm not building the footpath. So we can get that built, and then that will finish that bit there. Click here. You need 2.2 tons of concrete. Do we have an issue with concrete? Nope. We've got no workers. Come on, guys. Asphalt is quite unusual, the fact that we got a pile of asphalt here. Yeah, I think if we build this construction office here, then that construction office can then contribute to building that one. And then that will give us our expansion path that way. What are we doing here? The population is creeping up slowly. We've got, this is max, this is max, this is max. Our priest has got a full staff, and of course as the lord of the area, we've got ourselves a full staff as well. And 1 citizen unable to get food. Kindergarten is growing. We'll have to keep an eye on that. The university is growing. How's the school? Children in the schoolyard. Okay, we've got an issue with schools. I think what I could do is get another little school here, can I? Yeah, we're going to need to work on education. School. We could actually go big, couldn't we? We could put, maybe if we can do something like that. This is a private school. 150 people. There's another one here. Old school block. Water tank. This just needs asphalt and some boards. This actually needs less. So say for argument's sake we put this just on this corner. Actually, could we put it just in there? That would be brilliant. If I can put that in there. Well, if we start building some houses across here, I think that will work. I'm not convinced about this stable, so I'm just going to knock it down again. Luckily, we are working with mud roads. Eventually, I'm going to start graveling these roads in preparations for the trucks. Yeah, I think if we put that there, because that will, I mean, that will provide coverage for most of the accommodation. It just won't provide coverage for this one. But what I want to do is get a concentration of buildings here. In fact, let's just kind of work it in. It's a bit worried about that heating plant though. Maybe let's just see what can we do residential wise. Actually do it this way. I've got my list of residential buildings here. A 4-story tan old 5-story apartment block. How much is this? We've got the stable hands, and of course we got a Frontiers Hall here. That needs roads. I think I've got an old gatehouse here, but these are trouble with these is they've got road connections. Got 1930s worker park. don't think I'm ready for that because we're still a bit early for that. Got the old 6-story. This is 62. My instinct is to keeping a fairly compact environment would be to maybe have a 1, 2, say 3, a bit of space there so we can put a footpath between those like that. And then, oops, not on a road, on a footpath. And then we can put a footpath across the back like that. And hook these up like that. And of course we can get a footpath off of there. And that's a footpath there. And we'll just leave this little corner here vacant for possibly another kindergarten. So that will give us a population of another 100, 200, 300, 400. And if I'm going to be completely honest, if this starts to fill up and overflow, then I'm getting behind with creating my new village. And what I'm looking for is to get villages of roughly about 1,000 workers. So if you imagine we got 100, 200, 300, 400 add on to this, so that would give us 671 workers, which if you double that, I think that would be probably quite enough size for this village. And then we'll get another village out here with the same. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. So this guy's kind of trundling through here. Right, we've now finished this. We're now on the construction phase. I don't know if you're actually allocated to this, so allocate you to that. Get that going. Of course, because we got our constructor thingies working. Wow, we've actually got... So we're now actually working on that footpath there. I think that's going to be good. Actually, I quite like zooming in and looking at these cities. I have to be honest, some of the big modern cities I've built in this game with prefabs, I've never really felt engaged with it. But this series, and even the 1947 series, I think having these different types of buildings just gives the whole area a bit of character. Oh, we even got 6 people living in the village house here. Accommodation must be getting a bit short. I mean, even these are happy. It's brilliant. Really, really brilliant. I think what I'd like to do is build these footpaths across the back here. This is finished. Right, we're going to hold that there. Keep these guys busy. How busy. Unfinished footpath. Only construction, a little bit more gravel, and then we'll finish the groundworks here. What are we doing? Still haven't built this factory connection here. I really feel that if I can get this done, I'm really starting to feel that I need to specialize some of these construction offices. Have you got a slot there? No, you're full as well. No, we're on the 25th of April. I must admit, I'm really surprised that we got all these fields finished. And the problem now is going to be storage. We're not really consuming the crops that we are. Let's have a look at our money. Look at that, we're actually making a small profit. Yeah, I think I should have. I'm going to go again. I'm going to get another truck. We're going to export some more crops. Not crops, sorry, food. I think food is going to be our first earners. And in some ways it would have been a traditional product from the villages, because the villages would have sent their produce to the larger towns and cities. And of course that still works even today in more rural, remote areas of the world. The villagers around the actual cities and towns bring their produce in to sell to the locals. So that is going there. Just keep an eye on this. We're up to 15. Well, maybe we're going to need to take a look at this. In fact, I think I'm just going to put that there as well. I think you guys have... You got the other excavator there, so... It's gravel, gravel, gravel. My God, where's your open holes? What are your open holes delivering? Where are you? You're delivering boards. You're delivering boards as well. So I need more open holes. But that's the way it is. What this site needs is workers. And this is where this office will come into, or this office specialized for workers will take over. So what we'll do is we'll move some of the construction responsibilities to here when this is finished. And then this will be our worker type area here. Maybe we'll throw in some concrete mixers as well. Yeah, you've got... Right, he's on the way to the gravel quarry. Right, this is going to be interesting. Because I want to see whether they will get to the quarry before they leave. Because again, this is another factor. That the workers will only stay so long according to how long it takes them to get there. So let me just see. We just come in here. There's time traveling 1 hour 27 minutes. Traveling inside the village. So we've got some workers there. That's good. Now the question is how long they're going to work before they quit for the day. So you can see they're only going to be here for up to 8 hours, which is not bad actually, because they got delivered within about an hour. And I think this is why it's important to have that construction office right next to the bus station. So they're going to put in 8 hours work here. Should be good. The problem at the moment is we're still not getting that number of workers in there. I mean, I could kind of... I think I will. We're going to allocate you guys to there. Because at the moment there's only 23 workers in here. And we got 15 unemployed. So if these workers concentrate on going to there, what should happen is that the rest of the population can focus on providing the jobs. Actually, let me just see. I don't think I've got the full complement of teachers here. Have I? Yes, I have. Okay. Yeah, the university is struggling as well. But to be honest, I'm not too worried about about higher education as long as we've got enough to fulfill the teaching jobs. We can put in a second university. We could put a second university in here, couldn't we? This actually needs a road connection. Let's have a look. What have we got in the way of universities? I want to keep it reasonable. See, this is too new. We've got a tiny... What we got here? Oh, we could... Oh, that went green. How many staff have we got here? Got Tudor University here. Oh, that's not bad actually. It's 10 and 10. Oh, we could get that in there. But we'll wait for this to get built first. Then what we'll do is we'll slip another little university in here. Oh, shoot water, detect that. Yeah, we're gonna have to allocate that because they're never gonna build that. We got that there. How are we doing? Yeah, I've got too many jobs going. So I'm gonna have to let this kind of run out is probably the polite way of saying it. We've nearly got this bit built through here. We're out of gravel again. Okay, game. We're gonna have to buy another dumper. We're just gonna have to import more gravel. Should have done this some time ago. A little bit more gravel. That gravel coming in. Yeah, we do okay until we start to import steel. We imported some mechanical components last month as well. Doing up here, okay, gravel. This is steel. What this guy needs is some more open holes. What we got, this is coming along quite nicely. And 0.041. Well, see, that's finished now because we got the workers came in here because it was allocated. That's actually finished now as well. Kind of part of me says, no, these will be winter jobs for this area here. These guys need 0.042 of gravel. Oh. Obviously, these guys like coming out here. Let me just check some of the jobs. You've got workers assigned to it. You've got workers assigned to it. You've got 5 workers assigned to it. How are we doing up here? Get my little truck here. And we're just going to make a kind of adjustment here. Add you to there. Up the logs. Cutting. More storage. You can unload. One we can remove. And what I'm going to need to do is rename these. We'll call you New Hope Board Cutting. That one's okay. We'll call you New Hope Board Store. And then up here, we'll call you. Somebody actually suggested that the blacksmith was the entrepreneur who's going to get competition by the farmer. The way I'm thinking of it is that the blacksmith is going to kind of probably work on the producing wagons and distribution. He's going to be the industrialist who will probably want to get out here and develop the coal and iron industry. The farmer is going to be a bit more agricultural. He's going to be setting up feed stores. So technically, if you wanted to be a bit capitalist, you can say he owns all the feed stores here already. He's bought them out. And from a slightly unusual way, that when his empire goes out here, he's going to be hunting out here and he's going to shoot the ground and discover oil. And if any of you are not sure what that reference actually means, it's from the Beverly Hillbillies, which is a very old television series which I've been watching on YouTube recently. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, is Jed is out hunting and he shoots the ground and up comes the bubbling oil, which makes him into a millionaire, and then he moves to Beverly Hills with all his hillbilly attitudes. Why are you stuck there? Who are you? I don't understand. Oh, you're actually... Oh yeah, sorry. the log thing is full up. So your wood cutting outpost, what was I going to do is call you New Hope. Wagon logs. And we're going to call you New Hope Wagon. Actually, we'll call it New Hope Log Store. Yep. What this guy should do, he should pick up some logs. And then he's got, oh, it's one way to do it. Good way to do it. I think he already had logs on board, which is the part of the problem. Okay, let's just check the storage. That is empty. That's still got 50 odd tons in it. This is now dropping. Right, your job is going to be to fill this up. And we'll just remove you. I know I'm confusing the heck out of these. And what that will do is put 20 tons down in here. Once we got food in here, that will get these moving forward. What are we doing over here? We definitely need this built. We're running out of time on this, so we do need to keep this focused a little bit. This is coming together, so we need gravel. Jolly old gravel. I think this building here is just got completely stagnated. Because again, it needs gravel. A lot of workers in here. It's only got 6. This is here. Come on. So what we're going to have to do is just grind our way through this. This needs 69 tons of gravel. Wow. That's coming together. I think we're now getting, famous last words, still on minimal gravel here. I'm a bit reluctant to add any more footpaths. I think the footpaths were draining away what little gravel I had. How are we doing here? We've got 29 workers, so we're going to need to get another building in here. Probably going to need to get this done, but again, it needs gravel. I don't want to do it. Let me just have a quick look. Stop production, electricity problem. Yeah, I think we can clear all those. It's just misleading. So we're just coming there. Apologies, I've just realised the time that I'm going very over long on this video, so this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And what I will do is probably play on to about the end of June, so that when the next part we'll pick up with our first harvest here, and hopefully things will go a little bit better. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.